Okay, good day all. My name is Keith Burson, Lieutenant with the Marion Fire Department. Been here almost 22 years. And today we're going to talk about deconstructing engineering issues that we have here in fire prevention. I know that you guys are new recruits and this is all going to be quite new to you. Bear with me, you'll learn something today. And we're just going to have a good old time. My experience with conflict resolution, that's my forte. From when I was a fire protection analyst here with the city, that's what I did a lot. That's what I'm known for, is going out solving problems out on scene. That's my biggest thing. Before we begin, bathrooms down the hall. First aisle close to your left. Make sure if you have your cell phone, put them on vibrate. If you got to take a call, please leave out the classroom and take your call. Everybody's comfortable? Everybody had enough food to eat?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Everybody's good. Okay, no snoring. Just remember that. All right, so one thing I gave you in front of you is a needs assessment. If you can take a moment and fill that out for me, that would be great. You should have in front of you your needs assessment, your post-analysis comments, evaluation forms. I also gave you another sheet that will come in later in place that I'll talk about. This will be just one last ditto that you guys should see. Yeah, everybody's got it. That's fine. Also, if you have a smartphone, make sure that you're going to use your calculator on your smartphone. Okay? So as you're filling that out, so one of the things that we commonly come into contact with the fire prevention is the courtesy inspection. And this is where we have a lot of issues. For instance, you go out to the high school and you have a door that's barricaded. Is that legal? So I'm going to refer to my subject matter expert that's in the back for fire prevention. What do you think, sir? Can the high school put on that bar on that doorway like that? No,
sir.
No, they can't. All right? And it's our job as fire prevention officials to go out and educate them on what's the right way, why they can't do it the way they want to do it. All right? And that's part of engineering of the building. Those doors are designed to function a certain way, and now by putting that bar there, even though we have safety issues, especially with the whole active shooter thing that's sweeping the nation right now, safety is a big concern. So we also have to balance safety with life safety, okay? So that's another thing that we have to go out there and educate them on. Of course, this is the third of the series on the 3 E's of fire prevention. That being education, enforcement, and engineering. This one is going to be concerning the engineering aspect, and also we're going to be tying it all together to show you that how all the 3 E's are coming together. So previously, you guys weren't privy to the prior 2 presentations. So we're going to bring all 3 presentations together on this one right here, showing how everything relates, is what's going on. How we put it all together, how it actually affects you in the work environment. All right? Our ways of getting here to go through this presentation, sort of a roadmap. We're going to talk about oxygen classification. We're going to talk about the components of the means of egress, egress capacity, occupant load, how do you arrange your egress, and how many doors do you need, how many exits do you need. And then in the end, we're going to do a small simulation where we actually are presented, you will be presented with a problem, and we're going to work through that problem. So a real world situation. And here's our goal. At the conclusion of the presentation, you're basically going to be able to understand how all the 3 E's of fire prevention relate to each other, and going to be able to apply the knowledge that you gained from the past, which you guys didn't get, but that's that's the goal, and that's the design of the program for conflict resolution. Real quick, so this is a diagram of the Rhode Island Station nightclub fire. Right, this is why we do this, okay? So as most of you guys know, that there was a fire back in 2003, on February 20th. It involved the band Great White performing, or prior to their performance, some foam spray installation or soundproofing was sprayed in the nightclub. As if that wasn't bad enough, then they had pyrotechnics, that inside pyrotechnics in there for the band. So of course, pyrotechnics go off, catch the foam installation, fire, and as you can see down here, walk across the screen, one of the biggest things you see, exit sign not visible, couldn't find a way out. Exit unknown, didn't know that there was an exit there. Okay, railing blocked, so you couldn't effect a good rescue or escape from the building. All right? But the building had just been inspected not a couple of weeks earlier. The fire marshal's office had been out there. Well, obviously they didn't do too good of a job. I'm just saying. Would they have prevented deaths? It might have saved some people. Definitely might have saved some people as far as the building layout or the engineering aspects of the building. Okay, and so and the takeaways from this lesson, of course, is you will be able to classify a building, identify egress components, and egress capacity. And of course, like we said, the arrangement of doors, number of doors, occupant load calculation, and resolving conflict. Okay. What are the steps needed to determine occupancy classification? Well, the first thing is you got to know what the use of the building is going to be. That's the very first thing. You got to have either the owner or the client tell you what the use is, or whoever's in charge of the project. If it's something new coming out of the ground, you got to know what they're going to do, or how the building or space is to be used before you can do anything with it. And next, you're going to go to the hierarchy of code. So you should all have a handout that says the hierarchy of code. This is the hierarchy of code. It comes out of the, Rules and Regulations for the State Fire Marshal's Office for the state of Georgia. All right, so another book, a resource. That and the Life Safety Code. Well, we're going to get to that in a second, But it comes out of that book, and if you look at the box, the top box, it tells you what. The first one says what? Occupancy classification, right? Area. And it tells you which book has what's overall primary responsibility. So LSC is the Life Safety Code. And you can supplement that with the International Building Code. So as a backup to it. So whatever, the Life Safety Code may not contain all needed information for occupancy classification that you need. There are definitely going to be some instances where you're going to have to refer to another book. Say it that way, but the hierarchy of codes, and then who's responsible for that? So that the code book, the rules and regulations for the State Fire Marshal's Office will tell you also that life safety code. That's for us here in Georgia. That's the fire department. Well, normally, maybe a little bit different depends on the governmental agency, municipality. But they're looking at it, they would have to look at a particular ordinance. But for us here in Marietta especially, it's the fire department. Okay? We determine that with the AHJ. So right now, that goes to the second E, which is the E of enforcement. Alright? And also after that, so you got the reference material, life safety code book, right? You got the use, okay? Then once you got it in the book, you gotta go to the definition for the use. So if it's an assembly or business, you determine that's the use, then you go to the Life Safety Code book in chapter 3 for the definition. But you can also go to chapter 6 in the Life Safety Code book that specifically talks about occupancy classification. So I asked the question, are there any other code books, before we get on this, are there any other code books that can be utilized for occupancy classification? The answer is yes. And that would be the IBC. And the IBC, International Building Code, will refer you to the International Fire Code. In the International Fire Code, there's also tables on classification, but primarily it's going to come from the IBC. You have your highly classified buildings and structures in that, okay, as a supplement. First, life safety code, you can't find any answer there, or you need a more refined answer because the life safety code is maybe a little bit broad. You need something a little bit more specific because every situation is not the same. Then you would go to the IBC. All right? So we don't have a book here for you guys. I didn't bring a book. So I'm going to do this one for you. Step together, just going to do it for you. So it says, T.D. Jakes is coming to town, right? And he's going to lease the Georgia Dome to do Easter services. So let me ask you this. What is that in general? If we go to the Dome, what are people doing at the Dome? Assembly. You're assembling, right? Got it. Right? So that will be the classification. So you will go to the Life Safety Code, Chapter 6, and it will give you, talk about assembly. Chapter 3, you will get the definition, but it will also talk about assembly. What's assembly? It's 50 or more people for gathering, for the purpose of just having fun, gathering, worshiping, things of that nature. But 50 or more people makes it an assembly. All right? And that's all I want you to get out of that. Now, role play here, it's going to take about 2 minutes. So, I'm the head of my own firm, Person, Cheatham, and Good. Get it? Person, Cheatham, and Good. Nobody got that. Sorry. I was up late, sorry. So, if I come to you, call you out on the courtesy inspection, say, hey, I got this building that I'm thinking about leasing. I need some help. Can I move into this space? What's the first thing you're gonna ask me? Say it again, come on, man. For what? For what? Exactly. Gotta know what I'm gonna use it for. Well, I have a law office. Law office. So what is a law office in general? A place of business. So it's a business class occupancy. A business class occupancy is any place that keeps like records or provides a service. All right? So, a dentist's office. Business. A place, medical marijuana distilling place. What is that? Is that a business, mercantile, what?
Place of manufacturing.
It's kind of mixed, right? But think about this. What are they really doing there in general? What's in general what they're doing? They're selling. So it'll be mercantile. All right? Because they're going to have records there too, but typically they're selling. It's a pharmacy. So you're selling something. All right? So that's the first thing. And that's the only thing that you have to do right there is just determine that. All right, next. And this will be his business. I got that just to show you guys. So, if you can see here, place of business, you just got a conference room, a couple of offices. All right, that's what a business would look like. A typical business obviously would look like, something similar to that. Okay, what are the 3 components of a means of egress? Subject matter expert. Okay, Steve, you know?
One of them distance. Not.
Nope. You have your exit access, your exit, and your exit discharge. So, in the Life Safety Code book, I didn't bother because you guys are down here, but those are the definitions. Section 3382 will be the definition for where you're going to find the exit access for exit access and the exit 3381. But that's in the Life Safety Code book 101. Okay, and basically, next slide, please. Okay, this is a picture of it. Your access is that what leads you to the exit. Okay, so right now, even in this room, we're technically in the exit access. All right. Once I go out and I go to that first set of double doors, I hit the what?
Exit.
The exit. Okay. I keep going. I go to the next set of double doors. Once I get out the second set of double doors, then where do I enter?
Discharge.
The discharge. Exactly. Right. So then I'm in discharge. Now, the way you know that you've been completely free is when it says down here until you get to a public way. So you have to be 10 feet away from a building, both vertically and horizontally. Okay? So even if that canopy went out further, like greater than 10 feet, I'm not away from the middle. I'm not actually out because I have 10 feet of canopy. That canopy is still above my head. So once I get past that, now I'm out. Public way to a street or an area of refuge. Okay? Okay. So when you want to calculate your egress capacity, that's simply saying how many people can I get through my egress components. All right? You have a doorway. Right? That's the egress component, right? We just talked about it, right? Somewhat. Next slide. The doorway is a level component. Stairs and ramps are not level components. But what I want to do is I'm going to open this door to 90 degrees, just like in the picture. I'm going to measure from this jamb right here to the face of the door. A typical door is what they call a 3070 door. So 30 in width, 36 inches, right? So you take 2 inches from each side because of the jambs. So the jambs is going to take up 4 inches. So you're going to end up with 32 inches of clear space on a normal 30 door. 3070. 70 is how many inches? Right? So you're going to subtract a couple of inches for the jamb, so you're down to 6'8". That's what you're going to end up with. All right? So with the clear width, it's 32 inches, right? And then you're going to divide that by the, next slide please, egress capacity factor. So if you see here, it talks about a boarding care and it gives you stairs, right? And if it's a boarding care with stairs, the factor is a 0.4. All right, so we have a door. A door is a level component. And it didn't fit to the area. None of the healthcare, none of the boarding care, it's all others. So in a business, the door for the factor for a business will be a 0.2. So we're going to divide 32 by 0.2. So who's got a calculator real quick handy? Divide by 0.2. 32 divided by 0.2. 160. So at that door right there, you can get 160 people out. That's your capacity. All right? So in this room, if we just had that one door, you shouldn't have more than this door. If there's room to hold 160 people, then that door would be sufficient, technically speaking. Just keep it simple. Are there any fire protection features that you can think of that would affect my egress capacity? Take a while, please. Ah, there you go. And if you look at that chart right there, look at healthcare. So healthcare non-sprinkler has a capacity factor of what? 0.6. Healthcare sprinkler has a capacity of what? Factor of what? 0.3. That the lower number is going to allow you to get out more people. Healthcare is still the same, but because you have the sprinkling system in there, they're going to allow you to have more people to exit through that. It's based on time. That's all it is. It's based on time. The sprinkler's going to keep the fire at bay. That's the perception, which allows you to get more people out of the same thing. Without that time delay, you're going to be able to get less people out, and therefore you're going to have. That's why you have a higher factor. Next slide. Okay, we just did that. You got the 160. We used the table. Next slide. Okay, real quick. So now, knowing what you know, quickly on a scrap sheet of paper, on one of the papers, you can write down there, write those numbers down for me, and we're going to calculate. Come on down, next. All right, so now, what were doors? Level components, right? So, when your calculation, you're going to use a 0.2 for whoever you got a level component. What's a corridor? Is that a level or a non-level component? Okay. Stairs is going to have what factor? 0.3. All other stairs, it's going to be 0.3. All right, so perform your calculations for me, and what you get. Don't be shy, man. Speak up.
The door was 300.
Door was 300. What about the stairs?
Stairs were 146.67.
147, yeah.
147. And then the corridor was 180.
Corridor was 180, okay. Okay, so, given that knowledge right there, so you got your numbers, right? So what, after calculating all that, what do you think the true egress capacity would be if we had to come out of this building right here? So the door said you can get out 300 people, right? The stairs said you can get out 147 people, right? The corridor says I can get out 180? 180 people. Which one's going to be the controlling factor?
147.
The least amount. Look at that. Look, you guys are born inspectors. I love it. The least amount, 147. So the stairs right now are the ones that are controlling what the actual egress capacity of the building or that space is, and that will be. Right, good job. Okay, occupant load. Back in, what's the first thing we gotta do? That's right. You gotta know what you got first, right? And then you're gonna have to choose another factor. All right, because we're gonna end up performing a calculation. All right, and then we're gonna calculate basically the same way we did the egress capacity. The factors are gonna come from the life safety code book. And your table is 7312. All right? All you're going to do, you're going to calculate the square footage of the building first, that times width, to get the square footage. And then on the table, depending on the use of the space or the building, it'll have either a gross factor or a net factor. So gross meaning I can use the overall square footage of the space or building. Net, I have to take out columns. So if there's a column or something in there, I have 300 square foot, but I got a total of 10 square feet worth of permanent fixtures. I have to subtract that from my square footage to get my net, and then use that factor, just to give you an idea. All right? Okay, you guys don't have a book, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up right quick. Next. So, I'm going to change this. And I have another slide down there that actually addresses this, but just because you guys are here, I'm going to change this up. Got to move on the fly sometimes. All right, so we're going to make this easy. So this is an office. We know that. We've already said that. All right, so the occupant load factor for a business occupancy, all right, this is a business, excuse me, for business occupancy in the book is 100 square feet gross per person, 100 square feet per person. So if I did my length and width and I came up with 1,000 square feet, 1,000 divided by 100 is what? You sure? Positive. That middle math is quick. So the building holds 10 people. All right, that's the occupant load for the building, 10 people. That's it. That's keeping it real simple. So, number of means of egress. So anything less than 500 people, 500 or less, you're going to need at a minimum 2 exits. Anything from 500 to 1,000, you're going to need a minimum of 3 exits. Over 1,000, a minimum of 4 exits. Right? That's not to say that you can have a, occupant load capacity of 2,000 people and only have 4 exits. It's probably not minimum. But you need a minimum of at least 4. All right? Next. So, and looking back at that, saying that we had 10 people in the building, right? Do we have enough doors? Okay. Just making sure. Keep that in mind. Thanks. All right. Once again, so this arrangement of exits. These are the code sections where they can be found in the Life Safety Code book. Again, I had this set up for my prevention team. I'm not going to make you guys suffer this. But what these code sections are saying that if I have a space, I must have 2 exits and they must be remote. And by meaning remoteness is that if the building is not sprinkled, the 2 exits have to be half the distance of the diagonal of the building. So if the diagonal of the building is 100 feet, the 2 exits have to be how far apart? 50. All right, if the building is sprinkled, they can be 1/3 the diagonal. So which would be what? About 33 feet, right? Okay, and that's all that's saying in those code sections, in a nutshell. All right? And there's the diagonal right there. So, all right, so the diagonal is 69 feet, almost 70 feet. All right, next. So now we're going to put it all together. All right? Real easy. Here's my scenario. Go ahead. So, person cheating and good, kind of, it's a law firm that handles shady clients, divorce cases, and things of that nature. So one day, an inspector, off-duty firefighter, who was going to a nasty divorce, lost, and as a result, he reports back to the Fire Prevention Bureau, you guys, that at Person Cheating the Good, they have an exit that was locked, that shouldn't have been. A point of egress, denoted by the red sign over there with the exit. So you guys come out, what are you gonna do? Bam. What would you do? You're on the trucks. They're gonna send you out there. What's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna tell the guy, the owner, what? You got a locked exit. What are you gonna tell him? Come on, say something. It's okay.
Unlock the exit.
Unlock it. You can't have it, right?
Yeah.
That's against code. You can't have it, right? You can't have it because I can't get out. People can't get out. It's just that simple. All right. So you're gonna write him a ticket, right? Or you tell him you can't have it. You're gonna give him a ticket citation, all right? Because he says I can't unlock it right now. He's gonna weld this shut or something, because he doesn't want anybody breaking in on that side because he's shady like that. Okay. Now you have just done what? You're performing your enforcement duty right now, right? So that's the second E of the 3 E's, right? Now next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna educate him. You're gonna tell him why he can't have that lock as you're writing him the citation. That's the education portion. So now we've just done 2 E's, right? So being Marietta, like we are, we're kind of gentle fire department. We like to help our guys. right? We like to help our citizens because why? Why do we help the taxpayers? Yeah, that's why I said taxpayers. I'm sure you guys clue in on that. We want to keep them in business because basically that's how we get paid. We don't want to run anybody out of business. We want them to just comply with what the rules said so that everybody can be safe and they can have a safe structure. So this guy's having a problem, all right? We don't design. We don't design. I'm not going to tell him how to do his building. What I am going to tell him is how to comply with the law, or the code. You can do that. So, I told you that if the building is non-sprinkled, it has to be half the diagonal, right? The 2 exits. Well, he's got 2 exits. He's got 3 exits. 1, 2, and 3. He takes this one out. All right? See, what's the diagonal down there? 69, 8. The building's not sprinkled. Are those 2 doors far enough to allow him to keep that door locked? No. What would help him? What would help that situation? A sprinkler system. So now you're going to educate him. Says, look, the code says that you can't lock that exit like that. The exit has to be free and clear to allow egress to the building. Okay? During working hours or when the building is occupied with 10 or more people. Okay? And you have 2 other exits that you could possibly use, but not right now because the building is a non-sprinkled building and they're not far enough apart to meet the remoteness part of the code. Okay? But you say, but the code also says, now you're not designing, the code also says, if your building was sprinkled, then that situation would be allowed. So then right there, he has a choice. He could A, make another doorway, slide it down some, or B, put it in the sprinkler system. The choice is up to him. Now, you've done your part. You've enforced the code, you've educated the guy, you've looked at all the engineering aspects of the conflict. You just brought everything together and you guys have just solved one of your first problems. All right? So that's how it comes together. Just that simple, right? Quickly, in a nutshell, bringing you guys together who didn't know anything about fire prevention. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. And that's what we do a lot of. And it's really just that simple for most things. For most things. But you have to know you have to know the code or where to go find it. You don't necessarily have to do everything verbatim. You need to know what books to use, what's your powers, as we stated in the previous 2 presentations. Where does your power come from? Being knowledgeable about your job so that you can thus educate the public educator. And you have to know a little bit about the engineering practices of the business. In closing, as my last class, I thank you guys for suffering me. This is it. I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys are belly full. Thank you for staying awake. And that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.